Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
There's a particular kind of love that doesn't look like love at first. It looks like a man screaming at a risotto. It looks like a grown adult being told in front of a live studio audience that their beef Wellington is an insult to beef and Wellington both.
You dirty pig! Get up!
It looks like Gordon Ramsay leaning across a pass, eyes wide, voice dropping to that specific low register that somehow lands harder than the shouting, and saying, "This is not food, this is a cry for help." That is Gordon Ramsay expressing affection.
And let me just tell you something. You know, in terms of well done, look, we praised it. What is that?
That's well done.
That is well done, so stop bringing me shit!
What about this, Gordon?
That is well done!
What about this?
It's well...
And once you understand that, once you crack the code, everything changes. Let's establish who we're actually talking about, because the public version of Gordon Ramsay and the real version are two very different propositions. The public version is the one television built, Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmares, the man who made crying chefs a primetime staple, the man who told a contestant their scallops were so bad he wanted to call the Coast Guard, the man whose idiot sandwich clip has been watched so many times it may outlive us all. That Gordon Ramsay is a character, a brilliant one, a carefully calibrated one, but a character nonetheless. The real Gordon Ramsay is someone his friends describe almost universally as warm, loyal to a fault, the first person to show up and the last person to leave, someone who remembers details, your kid's name, your mother's illness, the restaurant you mentioned once 6 months ago, and whether you ever made it back, someone who, when he decides you're his person, treats that fact like a responsibility. The roasting is how those two things meet. It is warmth expressed in the only dialect he has ever fully trusted. Brutal, specific, affectionate honesty. Watch any video of Gordon Ramsay with his actual friends, not contestants, not failing restaurant owners, not the structured theater of a cooking competition, and the texture of his humor changes completely. It's still sharp, it's still relentless, but there's a looseness to it, a delight that the television version carefully rations. When he's cooking alongside a friend and they make a mistake, he doesn't lecture.
Fuck off. Oh, fuck off, you. Fuck off! 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 And fuck off out! Fuck off! Fuck off! Now fuck off, will you? Fuck off!
He laughs first, then explains, then laughs again. When someone roasts him, and with Ramsay, the people who matter always roast him back, he lights up, not with the performer's calculated amusement, but with something that looks very much like relief, like good, you can keep up, we're going to be fine. This is a man who grew up in circumstances that did not reward softness, a difficult childhood, a volatile household, years in professional kitchens that were, particularly in the era he came up through, genuinely brutal environments where emotional directness was a liability and sarcasm was the only safe currency. You didn't say, "I care about your progress." You said, "That sauce is catastrophically underseasoned, and if you serve it, I will personally apologize to every table in this restaurant." The message was the same. The delivery was the only option available. Ramsay never left that language, but he mastered it, and somewhere along the way, the language became his love language. There is a school of thought, popularized in 1,000 corporate workshops and self-help frameworks, that says honesty without kindness is cruelty, that feedback must be sandwiched, that criticism should always arrive gift-wrapped in validation. Gordon Ramsay has never attended that workshop, and it shows. What he operates on is something older and, in its own way, more respectful, the belief that the people you care about can handle the truth, that wrapping something terrible in compliments is not kindness, it's condescension, that the real insult is not the harsh critique, but the gentle lie, the soft nod, the "it's fine" that translates to "I don't think you're capable of better." When Ramsay tells a friend their cooking is a disaster, what he's actually saying is, "I know what good looks like, I know what you're capable of, and I respect you too much to pretend this is it." That's the roast as a form of faith. His social media era has revealed this more clearly than anything television produced. The TikToks and YouTube shorts where civilian home cooks send in videos hoping for a Ramsay review have become a cultural institution of their own. The format is simple. Someone cooks, Ramsay reacts. What's surprising, if you came to it expecting pure evisceration, is how granular his care actually is. He doesn't just say, "This is terrible." He says, "Your pan isn't hot enough. You've added the garlic too early." And whoever told you that's the right amount of butter either hated you or never ate food. He's diagnosing, he's teaching, he's furious in the specific way that only people who care deeply about something can be furious, not at the person, but at the gap between what is and what could be. The roast is never abstract, it's always specific, and specificity in this context is a form of attention. He watched, he noticed, he cared enough to be precise. Consider the way he talks about his own mentors. Marco Pierre White, who trained Ramsay, and by all accounts was every bit as demanding as Ramsay later became, is spoken about with an awe that borders on reverence. Ramsay has said openly that Marco made him cry in the kitchen, that there were days he sat outside on the steps and genuinely didn't know if he could go back in, and then he'd go back in. What's interesting is that Ramsay doesn't frame that as abuse. He frames it as the most formative relationship of his professional life, not because suffering builds character in some blunt, unexamined way, but because in that crucible he encountered someone who held him to a standard he hadn't yet held himself to, someone who refused to let him be less than he was capable of being. He became that person for others, and while the landscape of professional kitchens has changed, rightly, necessarily, the underlying instinct remained. I will not pretend you're fine when you're not. I will push you past the ceiling you've put on yourself. That is what I have to give you. The friends who have known Ramsay the longest tell a version of him that rarely makes television, the one who drives hours to visit someone in hospital without announcing it, the one who texts on birthdays, not a generic message, a real one specific to something you talked about the last time you were in the same room, the one who, when a protege opens their own restaurant, shows up on opening night not as a critic or a mentor, but as a customer, sitting in the corner, watching because he wants to see them succeed with his own eyes. The roasting and this version of him are not in conflict. They are the same man. The roast is the public handshake, the showing up is the private one, and for the people who have both, the combination is total. There is something worth sitting with here about what British masculinity, working-class masculinity specifically, does with tenderness. It doesn't always know how to carry it directly. It moves sideways. It comes out as banter, as ribbing, as the kind of relentless mockery that would read as hostile between strangers, but between friends means I see you, I'm paying attention, you matter enough for me to aim this well. Ramsay is not unique in this. He is, in many ways, the most visible practitioner of something that runs deep in the culture he came from. The friend who gives you the hardest time is often the one who would go furthest for you. The insult, delivered with a grin, is a handshake and an I love you and a don't ever change, all arriving at the same time in a package no greeting card company would ever approve. It requires a receiver who understands the code, and Ramsay, for all his fire, has always been good at finding those people, at building circles where the code is shared, where the roast lands as it's meant to, not as cruelty, but as contact. The reason Gordon Ramsay's roasts work, the reason they've built a career and a mythology and a level of public affection that pure nastiness never could have sustained, is that underneath every one of them is an observable truth. He is not making things up. He is not punching in random directions. He sees something, a technical error, a creative failure, a moment of laziness or fear or self-deception, and he names it, out loud, without cushioning. The roast works because it's accurate, and accuracy, when it comes from someone who is clearly paying attention, feels like a gift, even when it stings. The people who have grown under his roof, his kitchens, his circle, carry that with them, the standard he set, the refusal to accept less, the insistence, sometimes maddening, always loving in its way, that good enough is never the point. He roasts his friends the way a great coach drills a great athlete, not to diminish, to remind them what they're made of. Gordon Ramsay is not the easiest person to know. He will tell you your soufflé is a structural failure, and he will tell you at volume, and he will expect you to do better next time rather than feel better about this time. He does not deal in comfort that costs nothing. But the people who have chosen to be in his orbit, who have stayed, who have come back, who have earned the full force of his attention and his needle and his unsparing eye, will tell you the same thing. There is nobody they'd rather have in their corner, because when Gordon Ramsay roasts you, it means he's watching. It means he thinks you're worth the effort, it means he has decided in that particular and very specific way of his that you are his people, and once you're his people, you have him completely. The roast is just how he signs his name.